We are living through a global pandemic that has absolutely disrupted life as we know it. No matter who you are, this crisis has affected every aspect of society, of America, and of the world, whether that's from sickness to death to economic devastation and possible massive recession. So what do we do? How do we adapt? And how do we really survive and also thrive as entrepreneurs and content creators? Well, in this episode of the Think Marketing Podcast, I'm going to be breaking down 5 strategies as well as a couple inspiring case studies from businesses that are pivoting during this time so that you can keep fighting for your family, for your future, for your community, and that you can profit not from this pandemic, but during this pandemic. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Think Marketing Podcast, the #1 podcast for growing and scaling your business with online video. I'm Heather Torres.
And I'm Sean Cannell, and we're from Think Media. And if this is your first time listening, welcome.
This show is dedicated to helping you learn how to get your content noticed and the latest money-making strategies working right now online. So whether you want to grow your YouTube channel or you want to maximize video across all of social media, this podcast is for you.
Hey, welcome back to the Think Marketing Podcast. I'm Sean Cannell, and I'm fired up you're here today. Come on, even in the midst of really crazy times, no matter where you are in the world, I want to first and foremost say that on behalf of myself and the Think Media team, our heart goes out to you. We're praying for you and your family and the world right now. And we just really believe that this is a time that we need to come together and stay focused on how we can be productive and not get under the weight of this crazy situation. We've already seen here a real freeze. As I record this, we're in Las Vegas and the city is shut down. The strip doesn't have lights on. A lot of people have already been laid off and lost their jobs. And the prediction is that as many as 400,000 people could be laid off here in Las Vegas. Of course, we're at the convergence of travel, of flights, of restaurants, of casinos, of non-essential businesses. And so I don't know how this is affecting you and your business. Maybe you're doing great. Maybe you've lost your job. I believe that these 5 strategies are going to be something that we could put into practice to not just get through this. And look, we will get through this. This too shall pass. But also how you can even thrive during this time. And so number 1 is create over consume. Create over consume. If you're an entrepreneur listening to the Think Marketing Podcast, this is a more important time than ever before to be leaning in to creating, right? And if you're a content creator, that's already your job. That's already your vocation, is creating content. Even if it's a side hustle, now's the time to be creating over consuming. We saw an article that really speaks to opportunity for us and what society is doing. And Nielsen is predicting that content consumption right now is up over 60%. It's over doubled. The internet is trying to wonder how to handle the bandwidth. YouTube has reduced the quality in the UK and other countries so they can fulfill the demand of people actually consuming content on the internet. But here's what this means for you. Most people are consuming. Most people are scrolling on their phone, letting the news come to them, or watching your content, educational content, inspirational content. And I want to challenge you to create more than you consume. Facebook has acknowledged that heavy social media use, particularly the kind that involves passive consumption rather than active posting, can actually trigger a low mood. I don't know if you've ever felt that after you've just scrolled on Instagram, scrolled on Facebook, just wandered around the internet, that you didn't feel better afterwards, that you actually felt worse. So to protect ourselves and our mindset and our heart and our focus during this time, I think we need to be careful what we're consuming. I think we should scroll less, but we also need to be thinking about being intentional about creating. There's so many things we can't control right now, but let's focus on what we can control. You can control how many videos you post. You can stick to your daily routine, get up, create content, do a live stream, shoot a video, punch fear in the face, and post that video. And especially if you're finding yourself quarantined in some way, this is definitely a time to be creating more than you consume. So here's a couple questions for you. How much time did you spend creating this past week versus consuming? Like, how much time did you spend planning out videos, doing keyword research, thinking about trends? And look, you don't need to be talking about this particular virus or this particular pandemic. You may be addressing just the kind of general zeitgeist and mentality of the world right now. Look, people are looking for at-home workouts. They're looking at how to cook at home. They're looking at ways to make money on the side. They're looking at ways to learn software, learn tech. There's so many things. They're looking for a lot of entertainment content. They're looking for a recap of Altered Carbon Season 2. They're looking for, somebody to talk about the Marvel MCU, the Marvel Universe, and the movies that they're watching. There's a lot of opportunity right now to be creating, but you got to get in the game. You got to stay focused and really be careful about your consumption. So are you spending more time creating this past week than consuming? And then over the last week, if you have been consuming, have you been consuming more drama or more content that is helping you grow? Now, what I am not saying is that you shouldn't be informed. What I'm not saying is that you shouldn't have the facts. What I am not saying is that you shouldn't be vigilant about knowing the information and protecting your family and staying home and paying attention to whatever your regulations in your area is, any of that. What I am saying, though, is that there is a tipping point to it where you maybe don't need to get up first thing in the morning and just hear a recap of how bad things are. Like, there's not a lot you could change about that. And you definitely probably don't need to have overindulgence of content that's just drama, that's this one person saying the same thing in a different way. And maybe it's better to spend our energy consuming content that can help us grow. So if you are consuming content, which I am a lot, I'm thinking about what can I learn right now? What skills can I double down on? My Amazon, I'm ordering Amazon books and Audibles and I am consuming. But I'm thinking about, come on, as a content creator and an entrepreneur, this is a time to be consuming content that's going to help you grow. I hope you stay subscribed here to the Think Marketing Podcast. Check out what we're doing on Think Media. Check out the various content. I hope you're on our newsletter. We've got a lot of content your way that's going to help you stay focused on what you can control, which is building your business, serving people, being creative in the midst of a crisis. Well, hey, my second tip here is sharpen your skills. Sharpen your skills. The famous quote from Abraham Lincoln, the American president, is this: "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." Man, what a great post there that speaks to, when it comes to creating, that we do need to spend time that we're actually instead of just shooting videos and being stuck maybe and like, what do I say next? Or what's the next video I should make? Or what's the next live stream I should do? We need to be sharpening the axe, sharpening our skills. What skills can you sharpen right now? When I think about the skill set needed for YouTube and affiliate marketing and social media and live streaming, it's sharpening our communication skills. It's sharpening our understanding of how to write titles and create thumbnails. It's sharpening our ability to create videos. It's sharpening our ability to understand words like copywriting, not copyrighted material, but like the art of writing persuasive marketing copy. There's some great books on that. And we'll, of course, always link resources in the show notes. And there's so many different skills that are necessary for content creators. Ask yourself this question: what's the next skill or the most important skill you could work on right now? Mastering YouTube. If you haven't watched our free masterclass at thinkmasterclass.com, it's 90 minutes where it's going to teach you how to master YouTube, how YouTube works, and actually how you could be using YouTube right now in an intelligent way that can grow your business and make a difference. Sharpen your skills. Look, if I got 6 hours to do a project, man, I'm going to spend 4 hours making sure that I have it planned, I have it outlined. When I do a live stream and when I record this podcast, I'm here and I'm just sitting down and I'm shooting this, but I'm not winging it. I've got my notes over here. I'm on my Google Docs. I've got the things outlined. I've done some research and looked up some articles. So I spent some time making sure that the content was sharp so that I could deliver in a way that will add value to you. What is the most important skill right now that you could sharpen during this time? That's something you can control.
In celebration of the launch of this brand new podcast, we're giving away 2 tickets to our annual conference, Grow with Video Live, a $1,500 value.
All you have to do to enter is make sure you subscribe, leave us a review on Apple Podcast, and then take a screenshot of your review and go to thinkmarketingshow.com for the rest of the details. Well, hey, if you're getting value out of this and you are watching it on YouTube, hit the like button. And if you're watching it on a podcast, maybe a good time, or listening, I should say, to maybe share it or rate and review the podcast wherever you are listening to it. But the third tip here is cultivate creative thinking. Right now, we need to be more creative than ever before. And, our company is called Think Media. And one of the things we want to challenge you to do is think different. And that couldn't be more important than right now. You got to cultivate creative thinking. I understand that you may have been punched in the face by this crisis. I talked to somebody from our community recently, real estate agent. No one's really buying homes, selling homes in New York. His income is completely frozen up, and he just finds himself now at home with time on his hands, but no income and no money coming in. And maybe you're in that situation, and my heart goes out to you, and I have empathy for that, but I'm also going to challenge you to say, look, that may be the circumstance you find yourself in right now, but you got to get creative. You got to think different. You got to think outside of the box. Some YouTube channels right now are blowing up. They're getting more views than ever before because there's more people consuming content. Some industries and channels are going down. I've heard that some travel channels are struggling because people aren't traveling. So they're like, I don't really need to research it. I don't really need to, look into it right now. Therefore, you have to think different and think creatively. And here's one of the things that can happen is there's a Forbes article that was titled this: Fear shrinks your brain and makes you less creative. Right now, society is in a lot of fear thinking, a lot of hysteria, panic buying all the toilet paper and all the frozen pizzas in the world that any person could possibly buy. And the problem with fear thinking is that it actually kills our creativity. And as a content creator and as an entrepreneur right now, creativity is one of your most valuable assets. So you have to be making sure that your mindset's not in fear, that you're standing in faith. Come on, that you are fighting to be creative. And what it actually, the article broke down is this concept of neuroplasticity. Now, I'm not a neuroscientist, but this is my understanding of it, is that our brains actually shrink when we're afraid. And when we're being creative and when we're in confidence, our brains actually are more fluffy and they're more healthy, okay? And the analogy is this: if you've ever driven on a main street in your city, could be on the highway, it could be on a back road that a lot of people have driven on year over year. Maybe you've noticed that there's been ruts that have actually been driven into the concrete. And it could be scary. If you're driving down a highway at 60 miles per hour and you get into that area of ruts, it'll almost cause your car, your tires are in it, but if you try to drive through it, it sort of pulls the steering wheel, because over and over and over cars have been driving on these roads. Well, the concept of neuroplasticity is that is how our brains work. That if we're constantly worrying and we're constantly afraid and we're constantly in fear, that it actually creates neural pathways in our brain that condition us to think that way. The extreme of it is PTSD, that going through trauma, going through extremely intense situations that cause our bodies to be shocked, to make us react. Once somebody maybe comes back from having served our country in war and they have PTSD, if someone comes up behind them, they're scared by that because of what has happened in their past is causing them to be influenced in the present. So what does that mean? It means we have to be intentional that we're guarding our creative thinking. I understand that the fear is real. I understand that the panic and the hysteria is real right now. But we have to find a way around it to say, look, I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to tap into confidence. I'm going to get up in the morning, get my mind right, get my heart right. Whatever your morning routine is right now, now's the time not to skip on it. I get up. Come on, I have to get up and pray. I spend some time reading my Bible. I spend some time listening and reading things that are going to inspire me. And I spend time focusing on what I can control, because I realize as an entrepreneur, I need fresh confidence every single day. I'm not fearless. I have fear just like you. I'm worried about the baby that we have on the way right now. My wife's pregnant, second trimester. I'm worried about our team and can we make payroll? I'm worried about what's going to happen in our business tomorrow. I'm worried just like you about, is this going to keep working? What's going to happen? Fear is normal, but we have to overcome fear with faith. And think about right now how you can stay in faith and guard your creative thinking. And here's some case studies that I love that kind of show this of what some business owners are doing. The first one is this restaurant called Canlis. Now, Canlis is a fine dining restaurant in Seattle, Washington. It's amazing. In fact, my cousins used to work there. When we say fine dining, this is the real deal. They've got the sommelier. Sure, you could drop a couple $100s on a bottle of champagne or a few thousand if you want. They have a lot of the big businesses in Seattle will get a private room there. And you may know, though, that a lot of restaurants have been shut down. They've had to close their dining rooms. And so Canlis, their entire business was disrupted. The owners, their income, the employees that they want to pay and take care of. So they could have just shrunk back in fear. And when you're afraid, again, fear shrinks your brain. But you have to rise up and find something in your soul, something in your heart to say, no, I'm going to rise up and be creative. And so here's what they did. They launched 3 businesses out of their one business called, the first one was the Bagel Shed at Canlis. That was the breakfast business. So people could come and get bagels and coffee and like these bagel sandwiches. They launched the Canlis drive-thru that in the middle of the day, you could drive through and you could get a burger and fries. And here's what's crazy is they reinvented themselves because it's not fine dining anymore. It was back in the day before all this panic, it was, come in, fine dining, wear a suit. Now it's like $14 burger and fries. And they launched Canlis Family Meal, a dinner solution where they will deliver a bottle of wine and some salad and a meal to you at dinner. And if you go on their Instagram, you could see them in the war room planning this out. They're like, we're coaching our employees, we're coaching our team, we're launching new graphics, launching 3 businesses out of our current business to adapt to this crisis. Canlis is an example of how to thrive and survive during a crisis. It hasn't been without problems. They've been having, people sneak in the drive-thru and people get upset. They've been selling out. They've been trying to communicate on social media. One night they even went to, they set up at canlis.com/piano and they had the live fine dining piano guy playing and it would be broadcasted to your house. So you could play that in your house while they bring the family meal and get that fine dining experience and kind of some vibes in your house. It's adapt or die right now, friends. It's time to adapt and think about how we could be creative during this season. Soul Cycle, known for coming down, right? And you would get in a room and you get on those bikes. And I went to Grit Cycle once with my friend Shalene Johnson and Brett Johnson. One of the dopest things I've ever done. I remember there's like this chick up there. She's like a DJ. She's got her music. And then all of a sudden, then the lights went black and there was like lasers. And she'd be like, all right, here we go. Here we go. And then like beats would drop. And she's like, push it. Turn your, intensity up to 10. And you're sweating in there and you're, shoulder to shoulder. Well, that business doesn't work right now with social distancing. People are told to stay at home, stay in quarantine. And so Soul Cycle, what are they going to do? Like they just got to shut down their business, just capitulate to the crisis and give in? No, what they did is they've been renting their bikes out that were in the room so that people could take those bikes home. And then they've been streaming the workouts because Soul Cycle is a community thing. And that way people can actually still do their Soul Cycle, kind of like that other brand whose name, Pendleton. I'm probably missing it here on the podcast, but you know the one I'm talking about. They're adapting. They're adapting to the times and thinking about how they can cultivate creative thinking during this crisis. How can you cultivate creative thinking right now? How can you punch fear in the face and rise up and think about, I'm going to be creative. I'm going to look for a different way to approach this. I'm going to keep listening, consuming the right kind of content to find that idea. I'm not going to give up reading. I'm not going to give up studying. I'm not going to give up on that online course I invested in. I'm actually going to consume it, take notes, and find a creative path out of this. One other example is Heather Torres from the Think Marketing podcast recently got a dog a few months back named Kobe. And Kobe's this incredible puppy. And if you check her out on Instagram, Miss Heather Torres, you could see Kobe. Well, she's working with a dog trainer, and that dog trainer's business has been disrupted, as people are supposed to be, completely quarantined and not connecting with others. But the dog trainer launched a new business of going to people's houses and then taking their dog on a walk for them. If that person maybe still has their job, still has to go do something. And so it was a creative addition to the business that they already have. Heather's also working with them to talk about why now's the time to be creating Instagram stories and live streams and YouTube videos and all the kind of stuff that we talk about here at the Think Marketing Show, to be creative in this time of crisis. Tip number 4 is self-care. We talked about tip number 1, create over consume, right? Tip number 2, sharpen your skills during this time. Tip number 3, cultivate creative thinking. And tip number 4 is self-care. My friend, this is not the time to neglect your most important habits. This is the time to double down on discipline, but it's also the time to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Look, we're all at a heightened level of stress right now. We're at a heightened level of pressure. We're at a heightened level of worry no matter who you are. And so if you're going to be a content creator and an entrepreneur that survives and thrives, you have to take care of yourself and be even more intentional about that right now. So just think about what is maybe your most important habits or some habits you think for yourself that you need to focus on right now. This is making sure you get enough sleep. Not getting enough sleep is like the equivalent of being like hammered drunk, they say, in terms of your cognitive ability and your decision-making ability. If you don't get enough sleep, you need your best decision-making right now. You need your best willpower right now. This means staying hydrated. And in an upcoming episode, I'm going to be sharing with you my tips from working from home. I've been working from home full-time for the last 5 years and part-time for over 10. And I've had to learn a lot of habits to stay hydrated and eat well and make sure that I keep my energy up throughout the day. But just what does self-care mean for you? You maybe need to be the leader right now. And I believe we all should try to rise up and ask ourselves, how can you be a role model? And how would your highest self show up right now for your kids, for your family, for your spouse, for your small group, for your church, for your relatives? What do they need from you? I think they need for you to be strong and need you to have peace in the midst of the storm. They need you to be vigilant and assertive around being protective and getting enough toilet paper and getting enough food. But they don't need to see you panicking, and I think they need to see you being productive. Well, that means that you need to make sure, it's impossible to really feed somebody else if you yourself are starving. And so how are you feeding your soul, your heart, your mind right now? Man, I kind of have clicked into wartime mode as this has happened, and I'm usually somewhat disciplined and diligent about my morning routine. I'm not missing it right now. I'm up. A good recommended book for you is called The Miracle Morning. Changed my life years ago when I was in a very hard and kind of depressed season. And I realized I have to get up every morning and work on myself first so I have something to give throughout the day. A lot of people need you right now to be a source of encouragement, of stability. But if you're unstable and you're not encouraged, it's going to be really hard to show up for others. So number 4, be thinking about self-care. If you want to survive and thrive right now, I think you have to be thinking about not burning out and just panicking over the next couple weeks. This thing hopefully resolves soon, or it might resolve in next year. Like it might be a long time that this is happening. So we can't be frantic in terms of, I better do something in the next 10 days. Yeah, we need to have some urgency, but we also need to pace ourselves so we don't burn out. And so we don't diminish our immune system, especially in a time when that matters more than ever before. And then number 5, and after I give you guys some updates, I've got some encouragement at the end for you as well. But number 5 is keep advancing. Keep advancing. Keep advancing. Look, we could be going into a real recession right now. And the average person is receding, right? They're shrinking back. We know the economy is receding because jobs have been shut down and businesses have been closed. The truth is the world is really receding right now. There's been estimates that the GDP could be just that money is evaporating out of the economy because people aren't working. And so we are going to be seeing a recession, but here's the truth. You can't control that. You can control what you do. And my friend, you can advance. What our option is we can actually choose in this season to be bitter, or we can choose to get better. And we also can choose how we come out of this season. Look, you might end up with some debt because of this. Maybe you're here in America and maybe you've lost your job and you can get on unemployment, but it might not be enough. And so you might go back a little bit financially. That doesn't mean you have to go back spiritually. That doesn't mean that you have to lose ground in your health. It doesn't mean that you have to lose ground in your relationships. There's things you can do right now to set you up to actually take ground right now, but also to set you up to bounce out of this with momentum, with energy, with a new set of skills. This is a time to advance. The truth is, as an entrepreneur, it's your responsibility to advance. Look, the economy works when people spend money, when people offer products and services, when people actually add value to the system. I think about one of my favorite restaurants here in Vegas just closed their doors. They're not offering to-go food. They're not offering a chance to, maybe they weren't creative and launched 3 new businesses, but they just closed the doors completely. They completely stopped revenue. I bet the employees had to be laid off or at least frozen. And Sonia and I, the other day, we were frustrated because we love the food. We wanted to go give them money, but they closed their doors. Now's not the time to close and recede. Now's the time to reinvent yourself, to pivot, and to be thinking about how you can advance. I know it's hard. I know that it's discouraging. I know that you might be wondering, I don't know exactly what to do. Well, focus on what you can do, and you do know what to do. I've learned that entrepreneurship has a lot to do more than with even tactics and strategies. It has to do a lot with our mindset. It has to do with just being in the right state in our soul. And so what you can do is read books that are going to give you strategies on leadership and business and social media. What you can do, right, is invest in yourself. What you can do is make sure you move and get out a little bit. Maybe you're literally locked inside, but go for a walk. Stay hydrated. Get up, move a little bit. Call your family. If your family's positive. Call them to check in on them, but maybe call somebody who's going to spark your fire. Listen to some music, dance a little bit, get dressed. I'm kind of skipping ahead into my daily routine tips and how to stay motivated when working from home. But I tell you what, if you're wearing pajamas after 4 days as an entrepreneur working from home, that's the quickest path to depression. Sometimes you got to get up, get dressed, even if you have nowhere to go, and act like a professional. Because when you act like a professional, then you're going to show up in the market as a professional and you're going to get professional results. And so keep advancing, friends, during this time. There's so much out of our control. I'm not saying everything's going to be perfect. You know that. You're already experiencing a lot of setbacks. But there's things that are out of your control that we're just going to have to deal with. Far be it from us that we make it worse by letting ourselves slip on the things we can control. Let's keep advancing. If you're an entrepreneur right now and you have a product or a service, be bold about sharing it with people. Some people might misunderstand it. People question, should I market right now? Should I sell right now? Yes. Because when someone invests in your fitness training program and you get some money, and when then you invest in some software and now you're buying some video editing software and some cameras, thank God, maybe we made some affiliate money off that. So we made some money. And then you've invested in Adobe made some money, so their employees are still in business. And when that camera company made some money, and then those employees can still go to In-N-Out Burger so they can eat and make some money and take care of their family. And those people can go home and pay for Disney Plus as they watch The Mandalorian. And Disney Plus can keep paying their workers. And then their workers can go home. That is how the economy works, my friends. And so as an entrepreneur, as a content creator, now is the time for you to advance and not constrict. Think about, you got products and services, you're creating new value in the marketplace, or you're just creating content that people want to consume so they can take their minds off things, and you can make money through brand deals and affiliate marketing and YouTube ads. We have to advance, and look, we're in this together. So now's our time to punch fear in the face, punch perfectionism in the face, and press record. Leaders lead. It's time for you to lead. It's time for you to be a positive voice. It's time for you to think about how you can get up every single day and be the role model in your community, to your family, for your kids, for your future, for your sister, for your brother, for everybody around you. And look, as we do this together, we're going to get through this together. So I appreciate you, and thanks so much for being here. Well, hey, thanks again for being a part of this episode. Just a couple reminders. We are still on our way to Grow with Video Live 2020 here in Las Vegas in September. Of course, if something major happens, that's going to be an online conference. But the deal is I've got friends who've already rescheduled their events for August. In December, a couple conferences are coming here to Vegas. And, this is an unpredictable time, but we are full speed ahead, working with the hotel, working with our full lineup of speakers. We got Vanessa Lau, we got Heather Torres, Shalene Johnson, Pete Vargas. We've got Catherine from The Content Bug, Roger Wakefield, Pat Flynn, Benji Travis. Man, go to growwithvideolive.com and grab your ticket because we got the best pricing right now. And you may even want to grab your travel. I know flights like Southwest, you can buy a ticket and then you can also cancel the ticket. There's no loss on it. Maybe you're fancier than Southwest. I fly Southwest all the time, but some other airlines might have those extra fees. But join us for Grow with Video Live. And if you haven't rated and reviewed the podcast, we're actually doing a giveaway at if you go to thinkmarketingshow.com, you could be entered to win 2 tickets to Grow with Video Live. And no matter what, we're going to be delivering and fulfilling on our promise to you when you buy your ticket. So get registered. This is one of those investments that you can make in your future right now. And we'll have a lot of cool things coming up for you regarding that. Remember that next is, what is your next action step? I hope that this podcast was inspiring. I hope that you got a few ideas, but success is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So what's our next action step? Like, what are you going to put into action from this? And you probably don't need 50 ideas. You may have 50, but what are you going to do next? Remember, calendar blocking. Put it on your calendar. You're going to shoot a video tomorrow, schedule that live stream, finally open up that course you invested in and grab that journal and actually watch it and take notes. And it's cool. I know you've been binging some shows just like me, but maybe you don't need to rewatch, The Office for the 10th time through the whole season. Maybe put that to the side, grab your journal and learn something. What is your next action step? And then I got to give a shout out to our review of the week from X Skills X. It says, stop thinking and start doing. I love that. Check out the review. Super excited that these two now have a podcast. Though fairly new, the value in this podcast is just as incredible as their YouTube channel, Think Media. I'm grateful that I can now listen to them on the same platform as the rest of my favorite podcasters. I have had the pleasure of meeting Sean, Heather, and Melissa in San Diego in last July, and they were truly amazing people who want to help. Subscribe to this and all of their channels. Thank you, X Skills, for the review of the week. Think Marketing podcast listeners, please, if you haven't rated, reviewed, subscribed, hit liked, and shared the podcast, do that. Let's spread the word. Come on, we need to spread good vibes and good information during this time more than ever before. And remember, here at Think Media, our company, our promise is to serve you, purpose-driven people, with the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. We're on a mission to help 10,000 people create a full-time living doing what they love with online video. Are we saying that that's easy or instant? Of course not. Are we saying it's possible? More than ever before. More than ever before, live streaming, video, YouTube, social media is exploding. eMarketer did a huge article about how social platforms are increasing in value, increasing in consumption. Zoom is up 30% in their value over the last month because everyone's now doing live streaming. This is the time to be investing in yourself and your skills when it comes to online video and social media, and we are here to help. So let's go out there this week and focus on our dreams, our goals, and get our most important action items done. I appreciate you, and I will see you or hear you, or you'll hear me, or we'll connect in the next episode of the Think Marketing Show. Talk soon.